Every time you board an airplane, you're trusting your life to a design that looks completely wrong. Think about it. A modern jet engine can weigh several tons. Yet engineers decided to hang those engines underneath a wing that's constantly bending during flight, not inside the aircraft, not protected by the fuselage. Hanging out in the open. If you were designing an airplane from scratch, this is probably the last place you'd put them. So why did aerospace engineers choose it anyway? Because this mistake solves four massive problems at the same time, and one of those solutions could actually help save the airplane when everything goes wrong. To understand why, we first need to talk about something most passengers never notice. Airplane wings aren't rigid, they're flexible. In fact, during takeoff, landing, and turbulence, the wings of a large airliner can bend dramatically. From inside the cabin, you might not notice it. But if you're sitting near the wing, you'll sometimes see the tips moving several feet up and down, and that's completely intentional. A rigid wing would be far more likely to crack under stress. Flexibility allows the aircraft to absorb forces safely, but there's a problem. Lift is constantly pulling the wings upward. The harder the wing works, the greater the stress on its structure. Engineers could solve this by building much stronger wings, but stronger usually means heavier, and heavier means burning more fuel. So they came up with a smarter solution. Instead of fighting the force, they used it. Those massive engines hanging beneath the wing act like giant counterweights. While lift pulls the wing upward, the engines pull downward. The forces partially balance each other out. That reduces stress inside the wing structure. In other words, the engines aren't just creating thrust, they're helping the wing survive the flight. Without realizing it, every passenger is flying aboard a carefully balanced machine. But that's only the first reason. The second reason is hidden in the air itself. Jet engines are essentially giant air pumps. Their entire purpose depends on moving enormous amounts of air. And to do that efficiently, they need clean airflow. Lots of it. The area beneath and slightly ahead of the wing provides some of the smoothest airflow available on the aircraft. That's exactly what engineers want. If the engines were mounted in a less favorable location, airflow could become more turbulent. That reduces efficiency. And in aviation, efficiency is everything. Even a tiny increase in fuel consumption can cost an airline millions of dollars over the lifetime of a fleet. So placing the engines beneath the wing isn't just good engineering, it's good business. But now let's talk about something even more practical. Maintenance. Imagine you're a mechanic. An aircraft lands after a long flight. You need to inspect an engine, replace a component, check for damage. Would you rather climb high above the aircraft every time, or simply walk up to the engine from the ground? The answer is obvious. Underwing engines are dramatically easier to access. Inspections take less time, repairs become faster, routine maintenance becomes cheaper. And that matters because airplanes only make money when they're flying. Every hour spent in maintenance is an hour the aircraft isn't earning revenue. By placing the engines beneath the wing, engineers made life easier not just for mechanics, but for airlines as well. At this point, it sounds like engineers found the perfect location: better balance, better airflow, easier maintenance. But the final reason might be the most important of all: safety. Most people assume that hanging engines outside the aircraft makes them more vulnerable. In reality, it can make the aircraft safer, because engineers don't design airplanes for normal days. They design them for bad days, days when systems fail, days when components break, days when something catches fire. In the extremely rare event of a serious engine failure, keeping the engines away from the fuselage helps isolate the problem. Heat stays farther from passengers. Fire remains outside the cabin. Debris is less likely to threaten critical systems inside the aircraft. The wing itself acts as a protective barrier. And modern airliners are specifically designed to continue flying safely even if one engine shuts down completely. That's one reason commercial aviation has become one of the safest forms of transportation in history. So why do engineers put jet engines in what looks like the wrong place? Because it isn't the wrong place at all. It's the place that solves multiple engineering challenges at the same time. It reduces stress on the wings, improves fuel efficiency, makes maintenance easier, and enhances safety. What looks like a design flaw is actually one of the smartest decisions in modern aviation, and that's often the secret behind great engineering. The best solutions don't always look obvious.